The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 124. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of courageous women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Want to learn how you can change your inner beliefs and attitudes? Download a free copy of the ebook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady who is all the way from Australia. She won the title of Miss Australasian 2015. I hope I said that right. And, she's here to share her story today, her journey to self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Radmila Borkovic. Radmila, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Thank you. I'm very well today. So firstly, I am from Australia, born in Sydney. I've been raised here. So 2015 was actually quite a big year for me. I took part in Miss Australasian, and it was the first pageant I ever did, and I actually won the title. And from then on, it's actually given me a lot of opportunities to do things that I'm very passionate about. Being part of the community and working towards it positively. I also graduated from my university degree, which was a social science. Major coursework is town planning. So I'm really pretty much at the start of my career. I feel like I've got so much more ahead of me, and I'm actually very determined and motivated to do what I love and continue.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, congrats for winning the title. First time being in a pageant and you won. It's great.
Yeah, I never would have, I never expected, and I never really saw myself doing a pageant before, but I knew some people who introduced me to it, so it's something I never thought.
But it's amazing what you can do when you just take that leap of faith, right? You never know where it could go. I mean, it's opened so many doors for you now, right? And you just mentioned it's just the beginning for you. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, Radmila, what's your cultural background?
My cultural background is my father is Serbian, born in Bosnia, and my mother is from the Philippines. So I'm a very Eurasian blend.
That's awesome, because I was born in the Philippines as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was born in Cebu. I don't know if you've ever been to the Philippines. I'm assuming you have, since Australia is not that far. But, beautiful country. Love the beaches there.
Yeah, it is amazing. I've been there ever since I've been 5 years old. So I've been going quite recently, yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I actually have a few. I actually look into quotes as a form of motivation. But one of them that I really think about, and that was introduced to me when I was quite young, and I actually refer back to it, is a quote. It says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." The reason why I feel that that's something I can relate to is because if we focus more on the positive things that we can offer to society or to the community, we're more powerful than we can actually imagine. So I think our mind is a powerful tool in overcoming different challenges. And so we could do far more good than we can ever imagine.
I totally agree with you on that. And, our fears shouldn't stop us from doing the things we do. It should really propel us to do the things that we want, right? Like feel the fear and do it anyway, right? We all have fears, right? I have fears, you have fears, but the difference is we just take action on them, regardless how scary it may be. It could be something as simple as, going a hike on a mountain if you're afraid of heights, or just speaking on stage. But, when you conquer that, that's when you can realize how much stronger you are and have that power inside you to come out. So love that quote. Thanks for sharing that. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
To me, self-confidence is really taking control of your life, taking control of your own mind and thoughts, because like we just said, the mind is a powerful tool, and self-confidence is being consciously aware of what you want in your life. So you'll do anything to achieve that and be fulfilled with what you're doing.
Thanks for sharing that. And I believe as well, it's your responsibility to take control of, your thoughts, your life, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what the circumstances is, because in the end, it's up to us to make that change. So I really love that definition that you mentioned. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, before that discovery, I had a low self-esteem. I didn't have any proper goals in my life. I was kind of I just wasn't myself, and I knew that I had the potential to do better, but I wasn't anywhere near that. So yeah, it was quite a significant contrast to where I am today. It was simply just I was surrounded by, different crowds who probably didn't really have the same vision as I do. Kind of been a bit of a setback at that stage.
And it's really important who you surround yourselves with, right? They always say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. And it's so true, right? Because that mindset can, help you either lift you up or bring you down, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And people don't realize that who they hang around with can really affect, everything in their lives, right? Because you're with them, 24/7 or 5 days a week. And, you pick up things like mannerisms or sayings or thoughts, and it can be toxic or it can be good. So it's really I believe it's really important to connect yourselves with people who are there to lift you up. And
exactly, and it's so motivating. And there's that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you need to be somewhere where you can learn something, because you can't progress otherwise.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I remember my teacher once said this, that you will always be learning until the day you die. And I totally believe that, right? You always learn something new until the day you die. So, thanks for sharing your experience before that. And, what was that moment in your life when you realized, you can go out there and do the things that you want, that you had that confidence in you to be the person you wanted to be?
So, it was about after high school. I was about 19, 20 years old. I went through a bit of a downtime where I was kind of unhappy. I knew I wasn't really myself, as in I wasn't doing the things that I loved. And I knew I could be doing them, but I wasn't in the right mind frame and surroundings. For instance, one of them was I wasn't really fit and I wasn't playing sport. And to me, being fit and active is part of my lifestyle. And at one stage, I wasn't doing what I loved. And so what I did is quite simple. I made a conscious decision to just change my attitude in my life. So I started putting a lot of energy in, interacting, and I'd started putting myself out of my comfort zone by, trying a new sport. And I realized in return, the efforts that I put towards my life, that particular energy transpires in all other aspects of my life. So it ended up being a very big eye-opener for me, and it was by far the best feeling I had in a long time. And it's from this simple positive effort to change, I learned that you can change your whole life around.
That's awesome. And I agree, doing things out of your comfort zone. For me, a couple years back, I was afraid of putting myself out on video. It terrified me. I would stutter, sweaty palms, and I was just really uncomfortable. And, it was this is the longest 2 minutes of my life, It's
yeah, we've all been through that.
Yeah. Take 50 turns or 50 takes, just to say, well, this is what I do, right? But it scared the crap out of me. But the only way for me to get over that was just keep on doing video after video after video after video until I got comfortable with it. Same thing with, doing this podcast. I was terrified to be on a podcast.
Right.
I delayed this podcast maybe 2 months, from what I originally wanted to launch it, because, again, I was so scared, right? And, you think after doing video, podcasting would be so easy, but it's a totally different thing. And I was just what if people don't want to listen to me? What if they think I'm crazy? We get all these self-limiting beliefs. And this is the part where you need to have people who you surround yourself with that's going to lift you up, right? Because I had a mentor. Exactly. He's like, what's wrong with you? If it sucks, it sucks. Just move on. Just get it out there. I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. And you know what? Adding on to what you're saying, people, and I'm guilty of this myself, I generally just want something to happen straight away. Whereas, success doesn't always just come overnight. It's actually a work in progress, and we simply forget that. We just want to reach the end goal, but it's a work in progress, and it takes time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was with you on that too, because I guess we've been programmed to get instant gratification, not knowing that delayed gratification can be more beneficial. So, it's great that we can, be aware of these things and then share it out to the listeners, people listening to this, realizing that success isn't a shortcut. It does take work. There is such thing as smart work, but it still does take work.
Exactly. And you know what? We can always learn from our mistakes. Part of our journey is actually reaching barriers and obstacles and setbacks. And that's where we learn most about ourselves and our journey.
Yeah, because, if you hit rock bottom, the only place you can go is up. So
exactly.
Love everything you shared. And what's your life like now? Other than being Miss Australasian. I hope I said that right. If I butchered it, I totally apologize.
It's all good. You said it right. So yeah, now that I've been part of the Miss Australasian organization, it's been an honor for me. It's actually the perfect platform for me to work on a level where I can actually reach out to people in the community and have a voice for matters that I'm passionate about. Before Miss Australasian, I knew within myself that there was something that I wanted to do within the community, which is why I selected a social science degree in town planning. But when the opportunity came to join Miss Australasian, it was the perfect place for me to do what I love. Now that I'm here, it's just makes me want to work harder. I just want to work towards more opportunities, and I don't want to look back with any regrets. So every opportunity that comes my way, I grab it, because like I said, I don't want to look back at the end of my life and say I could have done this better, or, I should have done this. So I set myself challenges every day to improve, and I just want to keep progressing.
Awesome. And, great progress, great results, especially with the work that you're doing. And, it's a shame because a lot of people out there have that opportunity, but they don't grab it, right? Even when it's right in front of their face. And I've been guilty of that too, right? Everyone has. But the best thing is we can learn from it and just go out there and do it regardless of the results, right?
That's true.
So Radmila, if a woman's listening to your episode, she's in her own journey of self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to her?
As an individual, you know yourself more than anyone else in this world. What you can offer to the world is quite unique. So if you hear that inner voice telling you something, I suggest that you listen to it. Don't ignore it by being afraid. You know your potential and your own abilities. So if you have that desire or you have that dream that you really want to reach, go for it. Surround yourself with like-minded people who share the same vision as you. And I think that if you do that, it'll inspire you and you'll achieve your goals, and it will keep motivating you to do so.
I love it. Great advice. And, over the weekend, I attended like a personal development class, and there's this one quote that I really like, and it was, to think is to create. So for me, if you can think it, you can definitely create it.
That's so true. Yeah, our mind, the mind is so powerful, and it really dictates what we do with ourselves. So I totally love that quote.
Awesome. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more of what you do and the causes that you have, is there any websites or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, I am on Facebook, so it's Radmila Borkovic. I do have my public page, which I post a lot to do with what I'm involved with, and I am on Instagram, so it's radmila.isabelle, Isabelle.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Radmila, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Radmila's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really want to thank Radmila for, taking the time to share her story and journey with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena, for having me, and I love what you're doing, so keep it up. I look forward to listening to more of your work.
Not a problem, and it's just an honor to have you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another amazing episode of another woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Subscribe to the Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes or Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.